Thank you
Oh, Paula,
for your support.
how many plants do you have at home, Paula?
Enough for my boyfriend to complain about.
Good answer.
But I want more.
I agree. Sometimes my fiance asks, do I need a monkey already? Just as a decor for my indoor jungle.
How many do you have, by the way?
I counted yesterday, 41.
I'm far from that.
But you have plenty enough so your boyfriend can complain.
41, crazy, nice. More than we have joined Georgian office. Yeah, but our gardener
For the Georgian office.
our gardener said in summer we will replant them and we will have like more than 50. So I'm waiting for that.
Great.
Yeah,
Just keep them alive.
Yeah, they grown up and the plot is not enough. Need like 3 more for one piece.
And it's important to keep them green and healthy. Otherwise, the Georgian office will look like the Addams Family mansion, Morticia style. Well, it's also a style, yes. But I think the green will suit Georgia more.
Anastasia, how many plants do you have?
Well, one, second kind of dying, so I can't count it. So
no, you have already 2.
Yeah, but it's still in the office. I need to bring it home. I was just stealing some plants from the office with the help of Alise. That she cut it some pieces so they can grow into a separate plant.
It's called propagating.
Yeah, because she said that this is exactly how I found out that Alise is crazy about plants, because I was just like sitting in the office and we sit like straight like in front of each other, face to face, and I was sitting in the office and we have so many plants. I was like, can I cut a piece, like one leaf maybe? And she was like, oh yeah, sure, I can have this, and saying some Latin names of these plants. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, but I can show you how. Let's go. I'll cut for you. And she cut like, I don't know, some 10 pieces. Like, oh no, this plant is already very tired. We need to help it. And it's like, so after 2 weeks, you put them there. You put them there. And I was like, okay. And then half an hour after that, she kept talking about the plants. So I understood that.
And here we are.
And here we are. But I will try to keep it simple this time, so it's not too confusing. I think it will be already confusing with the basics. But well, if you will have questions, I will help you, of course.
We're here to learn.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's good.
I have learned everything the hard way also. Believe me, I've been there.
Okay, I think we can slowly start. We have 9 people.
Sure.
So basically, hello to everyone one more time. For this event, I can't say that we have many questions, so it's kind of not going to be like an interview when I'm asking a question and you're replying to it, but more like a how-to guide, I guess, on how to take care of the plants, and basically some intro into some plants. And Alise already has a plan in the presentation. So in case there are some questions in the chat that will appear, I will read them to you, or maybe you guys also can basically turn on your mics and just ask the question if you have something. But otherwise, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. As we talked before, chatting about the plans, And I said it that I completely understand how it is, first of all, to kill a plant, to feel sad about it, and to feel the struggle that why my plants are dying with me. And I have a perfect example. Once upon a time, I had a large Lucius caleithia, and we will go through. It had big leaves, and this winter was too difficult for her. Now my caleithia is this.
Oh.
So I completely understand after 4.5 years how it is to kill a plant and try to save it. And so here we are. And through the presentation, I will share my screen, and there will be parts where I will switch off from the presentation and I will show you some demonstration of the plant, so it's easier for you to learn something or see different plants. However, welcome. Let's learn how to keep the plants alive. And I want to say to you that, first of all, I'm not a qualified specialist. I have learned everything throughout my experience. I have killed enough plants to know what I am doing, and I have saved and maintained enough plants to share my experience, my knowledge, and opinions. And first thing, the question, as we spoke before, why my plants always die? And I have learned 3 things why the plants are dying for you. First of all, probably the plant that you have at home, maybe it was a gifted plant from a person that was gifted for just to make you happy, but the person has no knowledge of the plant or the environment the plant needs. And that can be the reason why the plant didn't die for you. And it goes hand in hand with the second case, that the plant was wrong for you. The environment was wrong, the sunlight was wrong, the humidity and everything together did not align. So the plant started to struggle. And of course, the third case, it can happen quite often that the plant, probably it was right for you, it was right for your environment, but it was damaged already. It had root rot, you didn't know, so you didn't check the roots. Low quality soil, was very dark and low quality, stiffy and clumpy. It had a frostbite from the draft, or it already had pests, but you did not know. So what I'm trying to tell you, probably it's not you, it's them, the plants.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, that's how it is, because you don't need a super magical talent to take care for your plants. You don't need 20 plants like I do. You can have 1 plant and keep it alive. You don't need a green thumb. You don't need it. Just understand what the plant is demanding for you. And but going through the common mistakes, these are all the mistakes I have went through, but through my experience and talking to my friends and family, I have learned there are 2 types of people. One is the overachiever, that you want to overwhelm your plant with all love you have and you want to share it with the plant. And there is the second one, the confuser, who does not know where to put the plant. So you're switching places for the plant all the time, and the plant is having the huge stress all the time because changing of the places. For the overachievers, my number 1 lesson was overwatering. It causes root rot, and most of the health and most of the strength for the plant, it keeps in the roots. So if there's a root rot, probably the plant will die and you can't save it. In rare cases, of course, you can save it. And what do you need to understand about overwatering? It means that you are bringing water, you're watering the plant too often for its needs. Same with over-fertilizing. Learn it the hard way. You don't need to feed the plants all the time that you are watering. For the summer and springtime, once in a month, once in 3 weeks. Few special cases need once in 2 weeks, but most of the cases once in 3 weeks or once in 1 month. In the winter, once in 2 months. You don't need to feed it all the time. Sometimes also we have bought plants, or we have received them in gifts, and we are putting them in low light. So the plant also has the stress that it can't feed itself with photosynthesis and the sunlight it demands. And then again, there's another part of the sunlight, that it can have too much light. And at the end of the day, you will have a crispy cookie. We have been there. Believe me, I have also learned this the hard way with colitis, that I'm not aligning my watering schedule with the sunlight the plant is receiving. Too cold. Actually, plants don't like too hot, too warm environments. But if they do want warm and hot environments, you have to align it with the humidity. Plants drink water not only from the soil and roots, they drink also from the leaves. So you have to align the humidity together with the sunlight. That's why we have also a very advanced plants who are demanding this, and they're very high maintenance. And yes, these are the common mistakes that we are usually doing, and that causes stress to the plant. But learning from the mistakes, let's get to the basics to understand that if I am killing the plant, what can I do to maintain it with the simple steps? First of all, you don't need a lot. One thing you need, for example, for checking the water, to avoid overwatering, use your index finger. You don't need a moisture meter. If you feel fancy and spendy, of course, you can buy it. The prices are different, but you can use your index finger. Take your finger, put it in the pot, and try to understand if it's wet, or is it too dry, or is it just perfect. I know people don't like this word, but for the plants, there's no other way how to call it. The soil has to be moist. That's why if it's too wet, the plant is probably sinking and you don't need to water it more. If it's more on the dry side, give her, I'm calling my plant she, her, give her a little bit sip of water. And speaking of watering, again, to avoid the root rot and overwatering. And if you are the person that you like to share your love with plants very often, water the plant in less amounts. Give her a sip, not a chug. Don't chug down the glass for the plant. Give a little sip, and then you will have the also occasion, a happy occasion that you can water your plant more often. And because if the soil is too wet, the roots will drink enough how they need for the plant. If they are sitting in the wetness for too long, they're sinking, and that's how we cause the root rot. And of course, simple things to avoid the crispy cookie case. Just have see-through curtains. If you're leaving your plants on windowsill, have a see-through curtain. The color is your choice. The main thing that it is see-through. That's how you are sustaining filtered sunlight, especially from the if it's bright, direct sunlight. It can help to avoid the sunburn from the leaves. Humidity, as I said, it is very important, especially if it's too hot in the room. It is too much sun in your room or the whole apartment. Humidity is important, and you can compare it as washing your face with cold water. Same for the plants. It's very refreshing, and it helps to sustain. It helps to push more leaves to feel more healthier. And the most time-consuming thing is to clean your plant leaves. This is also not my favorite part. Sometimes I'm lazy with this too. Completely understandable. But dust, unfortunately, attracts pests and makes it difficult to absorb the sunlight. To avoid them, let's clean the leaves. Also, it's a good tip, and it can help a lot. Once in 2 months, I bring my all plants to the bath, and I'm giving the really good shower. So they all have this rain effect, giving a really good shower, let them a little bit dry, and then I am bringing them back to their places where they were. One thing and rule to remember forever: never repot right after the plant has arrived to your home. Sometimes when you are a beginner and you start liking plants, when you're bringing a plant home and repot it, you cause more stress because they change just environments. Give her time, let her adjust. If the soil is okay, well drained, it has well drainage, give her 1 month's time. If the soil is quite bad and you notice, okay, this is quite clumpy, my plant won't like this, give it at least 1 or 2 weeks and then repot it. But give some kind of time to adjust the plant. Otherwise, again, it will die. And let's move forward with the beginner friendly. This is the part.
Can I ask a question? Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm always wondering about this shower thing, you know.
Yes.
I've seen it a lot in the videos and some TikToks that you just like put your plants into the bath and just shower them.
Mhm.
But aren't they getting over watered in this case?
Good question, actually. You have to make sure that the soil is also more on the dry side. So it's a win-win. You're watering the plant and giving a good shower. Good point, Anastasia. If the plant is already watered, probably skip the shower for the plant and just give a little spray. But if it's more on the dry side, give a good bath. Maybe not the bath, but the shower.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. And starting with the beginner-friendly plants, this is the part where I will switch off from the presentation and I will show you also different plants from my own collection, just so you have the larger variety if you are choosing a plant for yourself. We have low light, moderate light in the next slides, and high filtered sunlight. So also I have added little symbols like desert water drops. So desert means that it does not need a lot of your attention. Don't do too often watering, once a month. That's enough. Only water drops mean that it loves a lot of water. So if you want to water the plant, this plant will be happy and thankful for you. Both symbols on the plant means that you have to keep the soil in between, moist soil, not too wet, not too dry. Keep up with it. So let's start with the ZZ plant. I have also added the Latin names.
I think we see still the previous slide.
Oh, you see the previous slide?
For me,
now?
oh yeah, now it is.
Okay,
Good.
ZZ plant, also known as the easy plant. Why? Because she wants to be left alone. If you're the kind of person that wants a plant, but you don't have the time to maintain her and keep up with her, leave her alone and she will be thankful for you. Just clean the leaves when you have watered the plant once a month and she will be thankful. Comparing to nerve plants and peace lilies, oh, these girls are very thirsty and they will let you know when they are thirsty, when the leaves are getting droopy. They will be droopy and then you will know, okay, she's thirsty again. They can take a lot of amount of water. However, snake plants and golden pothos and pothos overall, they don't like too wet, and not too dry. So snake plants, they're more like sword-like plants, and they can be fast growers if you take care of them correctly. With the fertilizing and the watering, and same with golden pothos, also known as the devil's ivy. Keep them in the low light conditions, but they will keep growing and thrive for you. And maybe this is the part where I will switch off just for you to show the other possibilities you can have. This is also a pothos. This is silver Anne. This is just like a golden pothos. It can be pretty viney. This is different variegation. This is more with velvety leaves and little spots. And something similar to golden pothos, to the devil's ivy, is marble queen. This is how it will look like, very viney and luscious. It will have in the summer these kind of leaves. In the winter, they won't be so bright and different. The foliage will be more monotone, but this will be dual colored. And also for the peace lilies, not all the time they will have these white flowers. I have a variegated version. This is called peace domino, if I am correct. It does not have any of those white flowers. However, this is already getting quite droopy. So after the presentation, after our event, I will give her a little drink. Also for the snake plant, not all are sword-like. Some of them are quite pointy and knivey. This is Sansevieria snake plant cylindrica. for 3 years, I had a love and hate situation with her because she was not growing at all. So this year I decided maybe I need to repot her. And now I'm having too many babies here and I have to repot it in the second time this year, but she is doing quite well. So these are also another options that you can have as low light condition plants. So let's go further for the presentation. Anastasia, you can see them?
Yes.
Presentation? Lovely. Yes. Let's move forward with the moderate light edition. This is good for those if you don't have too shadowy apartment, but you have some kind of light, but not most of the day. My favorites, of course, I am a big Monstera girl, so I also have a Monstera deliciosa. It is the most popular plant on Instagram too, because it can grow 20, 30 years and it will grow quite a big monster. Maybe that's why it's called a Monstera. And there are multiple money plants. There's Japanese money tree because the stem is more tree-like, and Chinese money plant. Both of them, yeah, have all the same conditions, and they will thrive and grow in the moderate light conditions. But for the Chinese money plant, I learned it the hard way. When you are repotting the plant, you have to be very careful with the roots. If you are damaging the roots while you are repotting, it will cause an enormous stress for the plant, and it will be very difficult to get back to the healthy conditions for the plant, because the stress will be so large that she will start to drop the leaves and grow out black leaves. And that is not good because the leaves are dead already. Another viney plant is philodendron. Philodendrons are different, and I had a philodendrons micans, and the difference between this philodendron that you have, mine was I killed it successfully, and had velvety leaves, dark and velvety. So the foliage can be different, the selection is quite large, but it needs better conditions than, for example, golden photos. I'm sorry. If the Epiprenum, devil's ivy, can live in a low light condition, then philodendron needs a little bit more light and a little bit more humidity. And if you don't like plants, but not plants, but palms, then you can have something in between, like dracaenas. They're quite good, and they will live in less sunnier conditions. And yes, Japanese money tree. All these plants are great for living rooms and bedrooms. However, the low light plants are good for, especially the nerve plant and the peace lily, for your bathrooms, because it's very humid there, and there's low light if you have a little small window. And one thing that I forgot to mention with the low light plants, low light does not mean no light. Any plant will die if you don't provide any sunlight. That is something to keep in mind. And another thing, we are in the high filtered light edition. Again, one of my favorites, monkey leaf Monstera adansoni. It is another Monstera. It is a fast grower. It is also a viney bush-like plant that will grow fast if you will take care of it quite correctly. Rubber plants, these are good if you can provide the humidity up to more than 40%, then she will do great in a drier air, because rubber plants somehow, they like the heat, they like the dry air, and they will thrive and grow. And then there's, of course, string of hearts. This is actually quite unusual plant because it does not want your attention at all. If you will overwater this plant, you will damage the roots, because the root system for this plant is quite sensitive. But it's cute in the way that its plants and little leaves are heart-shaped. That's why it's called string of hearts. You can have a cousin of this plant, and it's called string of pearls. Instead of the little hearts, you can have a little bubbles, not the bubbles, yes, little balls, and it will look like a necklace. And in a fun palm you can have is a ponytail palm, and it's also easy to maintain for a beginner that does not know how to take care of, for example, larger plants, this is a good starting plant for you if you want to palm. And if you want a plant to hold on your windowsill, that wax plant or aka Hoyas are great for you because they like the heat. They like quite direct, but I will keep it in a filtered light position, but they can take the heat and they will thrive. And if you will feed her correctly, she will grow you flowers and they smell very soft and vanilla-like. So this plant can also bring you surprises. And from this, I think I can show also more additions for the high filtered sunlight. For example, I like cacti too. I have these, I have already told this Anastasia, I somehow like the more freakier, the more fluffier. This is called the white Peruvian man. It's quite fluffy, white. And also I have another freaky cacti that will live on the windowsill. This is called the monkey tail. This will grow bigger and will have these like legs. So it's actually also a plan. For me, somehow, yeah, the more freakier, the better. And also, if you don't want direct sunlight, high filtered sunlight plant, you can have also lower light plants. For example, this is also a pothos, but this is a variegated version, so it does need a bit more love. It can't live in low light situations. And this plant, I have received comments that it reminds of some kind of plant for you. I think it will be remind to you also. This is Fatsia, and this is also a friendly plant for those who want a large plant already. It can live in low light conditions, but it will be better for moderate light conditions. So yes, these plants also are an option for you if the previous you did not like. Okay, I will go back to the presentation once more. And if the beginner-friendly plants are not your jam, you like to live the life on the edge, here are advanced plants I also have learned the hard way, especially with syngoniums. I had a beautiful pink syngonium, but it's no longer there, but it is a beautiful plant, especially in the summer. It grows in large vines. It is very beautiful, but in the winter, you have to make sure that you are keeping up with the warmth, not with hot and dry air and the humidity. It is quite demanding plant. Calathea, as I promised, I showed you in the beginning, how does my Calathea looks like? This is actually how Calatheas have to look like. But fiddle leaf, yes, and
a little bit different.
Yes, just a little bit. Mine is almost there. It's on the way to be big and beautiful. One day, it is what it is. But fiddle leaf fig, also known as Ficus lyrata, I think we have in Valdemar Passage one. Anastasia, do you remember this tree in our?
Yeah, I think
cave?
We have it, definitely.
Yes, it looks like a complete, our HR room, fiddle leaf fig is the reality, because these that are more beautiful, you have to give so much attention because they're very sensitive to drafts. If there's a bit too much draft, it will start to drop leaves. If there is not enough humidity, it starts to drop leaves. And in the plant community, there's a joke that you don't have a fiddle leaf fig, but you have a tree with 1-2 leaves. And the whole stem is completely naked. It is what it is. However, the Calathea, it's a challenge. It truly is, as I showed you. A prayer plant, it is something similar to Calathea. It is also very demanding and you need to take care in the winter, especially. Alocasias, it has multiple variegations. Oh, it's so many options for these, but the most popular, of course, is the Friedeck, also little heart shapes. But yes, again, with the advanced plants, you have to be ready to provide what the plant needs. So yeah, maybe in these cases, if you're spending in more expensive plants like these, that I am suggesting to spend more also in this essentials. In this case, maybe a humidifier would help, because keeping up with the 50–60% of humidity, it takes time. So maybe a humidifier would be a better investment. Plant troubles. Let's go through how to read a plant. You can read a plant by its leaves. There are multiple ways how the plant will tell you, help me, I'm struggling, I'm having a really big stress. First of one is the droopy leaves. For Spathiphyllum, the peace lily, it can be that she is thirsty, but the other plants, it is overwatered. It is sinking. The roots are sinking in the soil. The crispy cookie, brown crunchy leaves. Yep, too much sunbathing on the windowsill. For example, leaves are curling. There's not enough water. I will show you also an example. I have one stressed out plant right now, and you can see in the reality how the plant looks like and what it's trying to tell you. Black leaves, roots are dead. It is from overwatering, and the roots are completely dead. If the new leaves are coming out black, we have a big problem here. Pale spots on the leaves. It's a frostbite, so you have to give the plant a more warmer environment, or it was a sunburn. You have kept it too near to the window, or you have pests and you have to do your inspection, explore every part of the leaf, stems, soil, and of course, roots for pests. Believe me, pests will always make sure you notice them. Small leaves, not fertilized enough, or the plant is so stressed out, it needs new soil, it needs new beginning. Yellow leaves. Sometimes, if there are a few yellow leaves, it can be just circle of life. The plant is taking off its old leaf and letting it go. You can cut it off. However, if most of your plant is yellow, that probably it is not having enough iron or not fertilized enough. Dropping leaves like fiddly fig. It can be all of the above, but most of the time, from my experience, I have learned that it's from that the plant has caught a cold. It is too cold for it. It's too windy. You have to move to the warmer or safer place. And if there are roots getting out of the pot, no stress, you'd have to repot it to a bit bigger pot. And one of the also many common mistakes is when you are repotting, we are repotting in a twice bigger pot, and that's not how you want to do it. When you're repotting, choose 2 or 3 centimeters larger pots. It's plenty enough room for the plant to grow new roots and leaves. And let's see how it looks like in reality. I will show the same plant. This is a rubber tree. This is Ficus abidjan. And you can tell the first stress symptom, dropping leaves. These are the places where the leaves has to be, dropping leaves. So maybe it was too cold where I kept the plant. Curling, but this leaf has been watered enough, it has been cleaned, it still is curling. So maybe there is damage on the roots. Not enough vitamins, not enough iron. You can tell this is the new leaf that curled up a few days ago. It is too small. This is the size it should be, or even this one. So there's not enough food for her. And also
growing like with the time, these leaves, or like they're straight away, like in a couple of days would be big.
Well, the plants are growing leaves all the time. In the winter and autumn time, it will be slower because plants are sleeping. In spring and summer, oh, that is their jam. That is when they are pushing the leaves all the time, especially those plants who are for moderate light and a high filtered sunlight. Then they're having a marathon with the plants. Another thing how you can check it, I will make a mess on my room, but that's okay. You have to take out and smell. If the smell is nasty and it's like, how to describe it, unhealthy Well, you
rotten?
notice if it stinks,
Yeah.
then there's a root rot. And then you have to cut off all the dead roots and give a healthier soil. If the smell is like forest, a swamp, that's okay. It's a normal smell. And for example, you can see the soil, it is well drainage, but it looks quite used up. So this plant probably need a new soil. And this is how you can tell if the plant is stressed out. This one is definitely having an anxiety and I need to help it.
Is it one of these advanced ones? Yeah. Or
This
this
is
beginner
no.
friendly?
This is beginner friendly, but my mistake was that I gave her the wrong spot where to grow. Either the sun was not good for her or it was too windy. I think one of these occasions, or it really needs a new soil and needs to be repotted, and I have to take a deeper look in the soil. This is a beginner friendly and it can be on your windowsill, but it needs a lot of light. But you have to check how much light it receives and do you align your watering with the plant. As you can see, yeah, mine is having definitely a huge anxiety. And let's go back again to the presentation. Also, yes, this is a Robusta, but mine, yeah, is a bit darker. And now we are to the repotting and how to have the perfect soil and fertilizing. With repotting, you don't need a lot of fancy essentials, but if you like to and feel spendy, of course, you can do that if you like. First of all, you need a soil that provides good drainage. Again, I will show you later, because as I said, good drainage provides the perfect amount of water for the roots and they can drink up as much to keep up with the healthy lifestyle for the plant and be green and not to sink in the water. Sometimes people are repotting plants already in the ceramic or clay pots. That is okay if you like to, but my preference is to repot in eco-plastic or whatever plastic you choose, and then put the plastic with the whole plant in the ceramic for the design. Because if you have a large plant and you need to repot it or to relocate it, to do it with ceramic or clay pots, it is too heavy. The plant is heavy, it's large, the soil is heavy, and now with everything you have also the pot. It's easier to move with the plastic, and also it helps with the repotting. Worm castings, yes, it's a fancy way how to say worm poop. It's one of the best fertilizers for plants. It's natural fertilizer. You can add it to the soil when you are repotting, especially if you are having a plant cutting. If you're having a plant cutting, you're putting the little plant in the soil, she will be happy for the fertilizer because it won't be damaging. It won't be very too much chemicals for it. And of course, watering cans. You can choose whatever you want to water your plants, but I suggest watering can with a thin neck. It helps you to access the plant if it's very bushy and it's very stiff and together and you don't want to make a mess all around, because when you're putting for example from a glass, the water can go all around. Sometimes with a small neck you can access very easily your plants. And of course, again, if you feel fancy, you can buy a repotting mat, or if you're simple, just newspaper, do it old school style. It's perfect, and you can throw it out after it. And of course, soil, before I switch out from the presentation, not all these things have to be in the soil, but most of them will be. For the well drainage and good drainage soil, you need to have perlite, cocoa coir, peat moss, dolomite lime, calcium, magnesium that goes hand in hand with dolomite, and or orchid bark. Not all of these will be there, but most of them, it's good. It's good, good choice. And how to tell if you have a good soil or not. For example, let's start. This is a good soil. And how can you tell? It's easy. It's very easy, it's dusty, and the roots will go and bind throughout and we'll have space where to grow. I made a mess on my computer, that's okay. And to compare it, this is a soil that you can buy in any local store only for a few hours. And the problem is it's clumpy. It's dark, it's clumpy, it does not have enough perlite, so the water will stick to the soil and will be much longer there. And you can also see by the color. The darker the soil will be, the longer it will hold on the water. And of course, how does the worm castings like worm poo? It looks very simple, very simple. It's nothing disgusting. You won't even tell that it's worm castings. It is brown, very well drainage and healthy for the plants. And as I said, for the watering, what I mean with the thin neck, this is my preference. It's not too big. I can add the fertilizer and it's easy to access and no damage then. So yeah, these are the little things you need if you want to maintain your plant, and it can be very useful for repotting. About fertilizing. Fertilizing will be different in the summer and spring period comparing to winter and autumn. When the plant is sleeping, it's autumn and winter, you need to fertilize it once in 2 months and not too much not to burn the roots. However, in the spring and summer, it depends what you want to do. You can fertilize it, as I said, once in a month or once in 3 weeks. It depends. First of all, if it's a leafy plant, for example, as I said, peace lily, it will need more nitrogen for faster growth, for more new leaves. If it will be a succulent, for example, a cacti, you will need more potassium for strength and health, because it does not need to push more leaves. It will, from the potassium, it will grow stronger and healthier. However, phosphorus is more for root stimulation. It is also good if you are having cuttings and you want to grow the roots faster. You can use a potassium powder or paste, whatever you have access to. But also for the general fertilizers you can buy in the plant store or whatever, you will see NPK as a combination. That is okay. All you have to take a look is the nitrogen more or the potassium more. If there is more nitrogen, it will be better for plants like Monstera, Golden Pothos, Marantas, Caletheas, all the plants that have leaves. Potassiums, if in the ingredients potassium is more, then it will be more friendlier to succulents. Same with the large Sansevierias, for example, or as I said, cacti or ZZ plant. For orchids, you need a completely separate fertilizer. You can't use a regular fertilizer for orchids. And how to buy a plant. This is also something I don't know, maybe you knew that you can do that, but when you're buying a plant, first of all, take your time. Select the best plants you like. Don't stress yourself out. Nobody is watching on your hands. You can take the best you have, the best plants you want to have for yourself. First of all, when you are taking the plants and you have decided, oh yes, this will be a perfect plant for my environment, my room, check the name of the plant and Google. You don't have to Google the encyclopedia of it, but Google just how to take care of it. For example, if it's called Caletheia, then Google Caletheia plant care indoors, and you will have a brief little description in the Google, and you can read it quickly. Oh, okay, this needs high humidity, filtered high sunlight, and you have to keep it away from the drafts. Okay, that suits my environment. I can provide that. And if it's okay, do a pest check. If you will bring pests to your home, it can do a much larger damage. Not only for one plant, there will be a pest infestation to all of your plants that are in the same room. Do a pest check. Check the leaves, stem, roots, and soil. If you see white fluffy things, it's a pest. If you see webs and little spiders, it's a pest. If something is getting out from the roots and little drainage holes, it's a pest. Leave the plant. And if one plant has a pest, definitely the rest of them in the store has a pest. So
And just run away from the store, yeah?
Yes, pick another plant that you like and do the same check. Yes. And if you got lucky and nothing is there, bring it to the cashier, pay, and remember to wrap it up in the paper. The plant stores has the opportunity for free to wrap it up in the paper so it doesn't catch a cold, and take home. And remember, do not repot it. Leave it as it be for 1 month's time. And maybe I can show you for just how you can do it. Don't worry if you make a mess in the store. There are people there that will take care of the mess. For example, this is my little monkey monstera. It's monkey monstera because monkeys can see through it. And for example, you have decided this plant will be your home goer. You have to check for the pests here where the plant starts to grow under the leaves, not only 1 or 2 leaves. Take a look, a real good look, all of them. Because if the one plant will have a pest, somewhere they will have the mother who is putting the eggs on the other leaves too. I'm sorry if you're having a noise, my fiance is coming home. And the second thing, where you can check for the sticker, on the plastic will have a little sticker. It can have the simple name like nerve plant, peace lily, snake plant, but it also can have a Latin name, for example, Caletheia, Epiphremnum, Sansevieria, and Spatifolium, and so on. You can Google it too. It helps you not only, if you don't have the full name in the Latin, that's okay. You can Google just Spatifolium, care indoor, and you will have also a brief description. And one thing you can also do, check the roots. If the roots are brown or black or weirdly dry, leave the plant. You don't need it. If the plant has healthy white roots like these one, it's okay. You can have it. But you have to take a look on the soil too. So what you can do, I will make a mess, take a look. As you can see, the roots are quite light. It does not smell, so it's a go-getter. You can bring this plant home. So it's a quite healthy one. And also you can take a look at the quality of the soil. If it's not too black, okay, this can adjust at your home in 1 month's time. If it's too black, okay, get 2 weeks, but definitely let it adjust to your environments. Do we have any questions for now?
I have a question.
Yes, sure.
Where do you get the correct soil?
Well, you have to explore it, or you can make it yourself. As I said, you can have all these things, perlite. It is accessible. It's not expensive. Cocoa coir, it's difficult to find. Peat moss, it's easy accessible. Dolomite is also easy accessible, and orchid bark. You can mix it yourself until you're satisfied, but only black soil compost is not enough. It's not good. However, in Latvia, we have indie brands, for example, for my plants, and they are providing already prepared well-drainage soil, and it's a Latvian indie company, and they are also plant lovers, plant parents, and they're having the same plant infestation in their home too. And I can trust them that they know how to make a quality product for others, because they're also in the plant community. You have to do an investigation. You have to learn and read what you can have, but just simple for 2-3 euros soil, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, and you will definitely do more damage than good. And also a little bit about my favorites. I also told you throughout the presentations, as I said, I am a big Monstera girl. I love my Monstera monkey leaf and Monstera deliciosa. Again, if you don't want to buy a humidifier, you can just live with a simple spray bottle. If you don't have 20 plants, you have 5 plants, make it as your morning routine. While your kettle is boiling water for your tea and coffee, give a little spray to your plants. Make it as your morning routine. It does not take too much time and your plants will be thankful. Again, filtered water, especially for advanced plants. Sometimes they can be divas. They don't like just tap water. It can be too heavy for them. And they will start showing spots, like brown spots on the leaves. They can be a little crispy. It's because of the water, and it can be too heavy for the plant. So filtered water is one of the solutions you can provide for the plant. Again, with the cuttings, why I love cuttings when they're my favorites is it is great for variegated plants. Variegated plants can be so expensive, especially monsteras. Bless you. And monsteras can be very expensive. For example, Thai constellation, monstera albo, any plant that has a white foliage, it can be hundreds in euros, hundreds. Same with the syngoniums. I don't know if you can see my screen. Okay, well, for a moment I will stop sharing. This is a syngonium. It is a variegated version. I did not buy a whole plant because it's crazy expensive, but I have a cutting. It has a little aerial root. Same with this, but there's a long time for the plant to still root before I am repotting it. So this is a variegated plant. Same with Maranta. It's doing a better job in the roots, actually. For example, completely different root system, but it's a variegated plant. So instead of paying hundreds of euros, I'm paying only 10 or 15 euros for a cutting. And you can have your own plant.
But do you get these cuttings like separately? You're buying them?
Yes. Yes, it is possible, especially if you are buying from indie brands. Yeah. Because they are people who are also plant enthusiasts. They know how to take care of the plants, and they know where to make the cutting, and they will send it to you prepared, and it won't die on the way to you.
So such cutting costs like 10-15 euros?
Yes, for a variegated version, yes. As I'm telling you, variegated plants are very...
checking this monsteras, and like even like this baby monstera costs like 50 euros or something, like minimum.
Yes. Same with philodendrons. There is a popular philodendrons like philodendron pink princess and philodendron white knight. One pink princess has pink foliage. However, white knight has white foliage. Both of them are very expensive. This is also a variegated version. It is lazy with its variegation. Here is only the most variegation you can see, and here's barely you can see. It's a pothos, but just because it's a pothos, it's not that expensive. Yes, it costs more than a usual plant, but it's not in hundreds of euros. This is a crazy part of the plant community. The rarer, the more variegated plant, the more it will cost. So the smart way for me, yes, buy a cutting and grow the roots for yourself. Yes, and well drainage soil, as I mentioned, one of my favorites are for my plants. It is for Latvia and Baltics, but you can do your research in your country from a brand that is providing that kind of soil that has more cocoa coir, more peat moss and perlite than just compost. And yes, worm castings. I know it can be disgusting. It's worm poop, but it's very healthy for the plant. And yes, I don't know. Okay, I will show you later. And this is all. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. It was a pleasure to share. And also I want to share for my favorites, where do I get the knowledge for the plants? I have, this is a book in Latvian, but you can have it in English. It is How to Not to Kill Your Indoor Plants. You can have it also in English, same cover. But English for more detailed description. This is more in the simple language, same in English, very simple. Any beginner will understand, but this is more advanced. It will also have more detail about the temperature, humidity, warmth, and everything on the propagations. So these are two of my favorite books that if I'm missing something in my knowledge, then these are my handy books where I'm checking it.
Cool. Okay, I have one more question that I've been
course.
from me, and then I'll ask a question from what we had from people.
Yes.
I've seen one girl, they were living to some vacation for a long time, and she also like some huge plant lover. She has all her house in the plants, and she was using these kind of glass things that you put in the inside the soil with the water. How does it work?
Well, I forgot the name in English, but I know what you meant. Well, these are little, how to say, tools that you fill up with the water and you stick it in the soil. The point of it is that plant drinks from that tool, the water when it needs. I don't know correctly how it works. I don't trust them because it can cause root rot. Because if you're not sticking it correctly and it's quite loose in the soil, all water will go into the soil. And if it's too much for the plant will die when you get back from the vacation. A better solution is call a friend or your mom or whoever you trust, give the keys to your apartment. This is how I'm doing. My trust person is my mom because she also understands plants very well. And I'm giving her the keys and she has a list of plants who needs that kind of moisture, and these plants needs to be watered in these days, and it's much more easier. And if she has crisis, she's sending me in WhatsApp pictures and shows what to do, help. This is how I'm doing it.
Okay, so apparently there's like some special technology how to put these things into the soil.
Yes, but it's quite tricky. I don't trust them because yes, if you are putting them in fast pace and it's quite loose, you can damage the roots. And once you get back, the plant is dead.
Okay, got it. And we had, I think, one question that we haven't covered in your amazing presentation was about orchids and how to keep them alive and blooming.
Well, it's a masterpiece. Orchids are masterpiece. I think orchids are the plants that we receive as gifts, don't we? Or we have given to people as gifts because they're very accessible. You can have in a local store for Latvia, it's Rimi, Maxima, anywhere. However, to keep them alive, first, the common mistakes before we jump to the alive part, we leave them on the windowsill where it's the most sunny, and we are watering it when we remember. It's not the lifestyle that orchid needs. It needs attention, actually. Why I said it needs a separate fertilizer specifically for orchids, because it has all the food, all the vitamins that orchids demand. First thing, it needs your attention once in 2 weeks, so bi-weekly. You have to give a bath for the soil and the roots, and you have to keep the roots in a see-through plastic or in a glass pot, because the roots, they need to see the sunlight also, not only the leaf part and the flower part. Give a little sunk and dump in the water and leave it to dry a bit. You cannot, you have to keep the soil moist, but not too wet. And you have to fertilize it quite often. So I would say twice a month, but not too much. Give a little also sip with the fertilizer. So keep up with the, to give the energy for the flowers. Another thing, don't keep it in direct sunlight. It likes a sunny place, but too much sun will give you yellow leaves. It will give you curly leaves. I think we all know how they look like, and will damage the plant. And when the plant has stress, especially orchids, they are inviting spider mites or mealybugs. Mealybugs are white fluffy things that we notice on the plants or on the stem, and spider mites are having a little web party at the beginning of the stem, and there are millions of those spider mites because they multiply by day, and it's very hard to get back to the very healthy position to heal the plant. So yes, you have to give a lot of attention, filtered high sunlight, a bath for the roots, and not from the upper part. You have to from the lower part because you can wet the upper part, it will again root rot. Yes, so to sum it all up, orchids are very maintaining. You have to invest yourself to keep them very healthy. My mom somehow does it perfectly, but she has the perfect environment for it. It's enough humid, it's enough warm, it's not damaging. So she has an orchid with 20 flowers and she does barely nothing. It also can be the case.
Same thing with my mom. She also has like all these flowers, all these orchids were gifts. Like she has the whole window in them. There's, I don't know, 5, 6 of them, 7 maybe. And she was telling me also like, I was like about to throw them away because like felt that they're dying. And then suddenly they started blooming like crazy, but I did nothing. So basically, yeah, she also kind of does nothing and they're just living their own life.
It's something about the mother love, and orchids that we can officially call them the mother's plant. But I call also the orchids Frankensteins because when the plant dies, it can live again and multiple times.
Exactly. That's what's happening
if it
there.
dies, don't worry, it will be alive once again. Just give it a little time. It will take a break for a month, and month after it will sprout new little thingies and they will have flower. But yes, I call them Frankensteins. In these cases, if the stem dies with the flowers, you can cut it at the beginning, give space, give energy to new stem to grow.
Crazy.
Yes. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, it's magic.
It's not an easy plant. For me, definitely not. I'm telling you, I even had an orchid called Frankenstein.
Wow. So guys, maybe if you have any question, that's the time to turn on your mic or just drop it in the chat so we could answer it. Let's give you like a 3-minute time. Limited.
If there are no questions today, that's okay. You can ask me in Slack in whichever day. If you have some kind of concern of your plan, you can send a photo and arise your question and concerns. I will try to help you as I can. If not, that is also okay. Hope you learned something new about the plants, because I learn about the plants every day, believe me. And my Caletheia is the proof of it. 4.5 years later, I'm still learning about my plants.
Okay, so there's a question from Paul, who's in the tram right now. How do you do cuttings like we did for these My Little Plants? There were actually some hacks, yeah.
Yes, of course, especially for podos. I think it's the best way to show on them. I will show on my beauty. You can see the plants have aerial roots. Can you see them, Nastya?
Yeah.
These are aerial roots. To have your cutting, you have to cut in between these two aerial roots. Aerial roots are good. They're nothing bad. If you will put them in the water from the aerial root, there will be the simple root, then the root that is necessary grown out of the little bump here. This is how you make a cutting. If there is no aerial root, if it's too little, don't cut it. Cut it where it is the largest and the strongest, so it has enough energy to proceed further with the
to grow.
Yeah, yes, just to grow. And yeah, that is how you make a cutting, and you can make multiple of them. Same with here in Caletheia as well. And this is Maranta, but you can take care of Caletheia same way. They won't have aerial roots, but they will have little bulbs here, little bulbs here. And this is where they will start to grow their new leaves, new roots, but it will take time, more time than from a aerial root. Same with large monsteras. If you see a large aerial root, centimeter or two, cut it with a clean knife and put it in the water. It will be a slow grower, but this is where you can cut. With Sansevierius, which one I can tell? Okay, let's take this one. With Sansevierius and also with the sword like Sansevierius, I will show on this one. I don't know if this will grow like this, but you can cut this one leaf in multiple pieces and stick it in the soil. And in time, it will grow little roots, and from that little piece, grow new large Sansevieria leaf.
Great.
That's how you get free plants.
Yeah, I already see that Paula will do it on the weekend. Gonna be a busy weekend then.
Yes. And also, for example, in these cases, in Spathiphyllums, well, you can't cut it. It will be difficult. In my experience, there is no success of cutting just one leaf and putting it in water. In this case, you have to open from the soil. You have to divide it because, yes, you have to divide it because they are growing together. And one part you can give it to a friend or whoever, and other part you can repot it to a smaller pot. So yeah, that is how you do repotting. But first, when you are repotting, you have to give time. You have to make sure that the root system is strong enough. If you will put it in the soil and the roots are still little or not strong enough, it will die from the shock that it's already in some kind of different environment. So that's why I'm telling you, keep the little cuttings near to the window, maybe not in direct light, but near to them, and give time. It can be multiple weeks. For golden pothos, it will be a few weeks if you're keeping it near to the sun, but the less sun, the slower grower. Simple math.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I think we can finish on that because I don't see any more questions. But really, your presentation was very kind of, you know, step by step. All the questions that I would have, you answered them in the presentation. So now I feel more confident about not
enlightened.
Yeah. Yes. Now I even know like why are they not growing properly. But also, by the way, I wanted to brag a bit. Not brag, but also share that for people who, for example, like me, are like very bad at plants. At some point, my brother presented me on the Christmas. I don't know if you know this. Click and Grow.
No, I don't know. Click and Grow. I'm sorry.
That's a thing made by a Lithuanian girl, by the way. So it's also from Baltics. Very cool thing. It's just like a long pot, and there are like 3 or like there are bigger ones. For mine, it's just 3 places where you put inside already prepared like in the soil there is a seed, so you just put it inside. Then under it, there is like this big container with water, like you fill it with water, like, I don't know, some 2 liters of water, probably, okay, a liter. And it just up there is a light. So you just plug it in, it adjusts to the daylight. So for example, it's just working at some point and then it turns off for like night. So plants are sleeping, and you basically just put their water once in a month. And then you have the huge garden on your anywhere.
So it's more a vegetable garden.
No, there's like anything. There's very different types of plants. Like you can get flowers, you can get berries, some basil, some peppermint, anything. You just buy these little soil things with the seed, and then you just put them in, filled with water, and that's it. And this is my savior because I really like plants, but I can't take care of them. But there, I'm just like looking at something green, and I was like, didn't do anything.
And speaking of light, while I am remembering, I didn't mention it in the presentation because of the prices of electricity. You can buy light bulbs for photosynthesis for the plants. It is good for in the winter and autumn, when the sun, especially here in the north, is not enough for the plants, you can click it on. You can quickly change your lamp's bulb into a photosynthesis and click in the light for more sun. So also it's good if you are growing from a little gum or a little seed of plants, for example, a lemon tree you're growing from a seed. It is very good and very helpful, but it's pricey. Again, it will affect your expenses in not rental, but for your home.
Yeah, utilities. Yeah.
Yes, utilities.
Yep, true. Okay, I bragged. He told us everything. I think here we can finish. So thank you very much. That was really very insightful and very interesting.
You're
I will
welcome.
rewatch it later to just like choose the plants that I'm ready to get.
Well, you have the VIP option here.
Yes, don't worry, there will be a recording as well. And yes, thank you very much. And have a great evening,
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you, Alise, for amazing tour in the jungle.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are more enlightenment now about plants, and thanks for everything you tell
You're
us.
welcome. It was a pleasure to be here and participate and share my knowledge. Okay, have a lovely evening. See you
too, guys. See you.
somewhere. Okay,
Thank
hey,
you. Bye, guys.
Bye.